Welcome to the special meeting of the Recreation and Parks Commission. Nice feedback. All right, would everyone please?
Mute that speaker right there.
Yeah.
Mute the laptop, and you won't get that.
Thank you. We'll get started here in just a second.
On the very top one, the top row by the F.
Is that any better?
Just volume down. There it is.
Yep, sounds better. A little, no, not on, since my mic is on. Is that any better? Yes. Okay, here we go. We're going to give it a shot. All right, would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Julie, you're up. Okay. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Stolnak?
Present.
Commissioner Lubes is absent. Commissioner Watson?
Present.
Chairperson Moda?
I am here. We have presentations tonight? No? Okay. Public communications related to commission business only, and that is within the subject matter under the jurisdiction of the commission. Anyway, okay.
Hi, I'm lacrosse, soccer, Little League baseball, basketball, Coach Woody. I just want to say a couple words of thanks for the last meeting I was able to come to the commission. The list of things that this commission and this park and rec do for our city is incredible. I was totally taken aback, and I told people afterward, but I didn't get to tell you commissioners, thank you so much. And kind of like Commissioner Kelly's hope for more events in this city, I have put a grant into U.S. Lacrosse to make El Segundo the home of one of their Celebrate Lacrosse Weeks, national weeks. It's a whole like 10 days. It's November 2nd through the 11th. So if they say yes, I will be back to Director O'Reilly and your team, to Rachel, with what we need to do. We have until November, but so it'd be at the beach and at rec, and whether or not we can provide city buses, but ideally it involved bringing out some of the Haudenosaunee Iroquois National Lacrosse celebrities or entities to also come, and so it'd be an opportunity for us to start making El Segundo the home of a place to be for the 2028 Olympics. So it's a pleasure being on your team, Director. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Woody. Anyone else?
Hello, Chris Edom, El Segundo resident, here to talk about the skate park, and wanted to go over a few things with the designs that I looked over and have been seeing. I do think that option D is more favorable than option A. It has a better entry to the skate park. It has a place where you can put a tent in the front, so when you enter, you'll have a tent there if we're doing any sort of activity or anything. Option A has the green space to the back, which I think would just get lost, and even if it is like real grass or artificial grass, it's not really conducive to the whole layout. So I think pushing the court over and having the entrance open, so when you get there, if say there's like an event, you could check people in, you can check people out. Also, wanted to advocate for having pool coping in the bowl. That's reminiscent of the 70s and the surf city of El Segundo being, one of the prominent cities of where skateboarding was born, because we're next to Venice and the proximity of everything here in Southern California. So pool coping would be a big thing to have in our park. No other skate park around the South Bay has pool coping in the bowl. And I know there's a cost issue between A, A1, D, and D1. It's about $100,000. D1 with the parking space extended, is $100,000 more, but I think that spending that extra $100,000 is really, you know, going to give something, you know, you're going to give the best park to the residents now that, say the kid's like 13 now going to the skate parks, 20, 30 years now, he can come back and say, hey, this is the park that I skated with his kids and stuff. Right now, the current park, nobody's going to come back and show off their kids this park that they have. So spend the extra money now for the longevity of the park. And yeah, option D1.
Just 1, 2, 3.
That's what I think. Yeah, pool coping, D1 with the entrance. Pool coping is like, so there's still coping, and then there's pool coping. Pool coping is like kind of a concrete coping that when you grind, it's a little bit rougher.
I can hear you, Aaron. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Steve.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, he can explain more on pool coping and the advantages of, you know, the terrain and use of it for skaters. And yeah, so D1 all the way, my vote. Lots of good stuff for D1. Thank you.
Okay, with seeing no others, we'll close public communications. And there is no consent calendar tonight. There's no unfinished business. New business, skate park review. Recommendations are recommend and approve the skate park option A or
D.
option B, and then send them on to city council.
Yes, so.
Actually, it says B here, but that's actually D.
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And or alternatively discuss and take other action related to this item.
Yes, so good evening, Honorable Chair, members of the commission, members of the community, and staff. So we're very pleased this evening to be presenting to the commission a couple of conceptual designs, ideas for the Teen Plaza, which is the outdoor portion up near the Teen Center. As you all know, this project has been near and dear to our hearts for many years, and we are actually making really good progress and moving ahead. And one of the sort of first items of business that we need to take care of so that we can continue the design is to determine the layout of the two amenities in the plaza, the two significant amenities being the skate park and the basketball court. We have already had several discussions about this. It has come to the city council. The council asked us to go back and meet with the consultant team and with some of their subcontractors and present two options for the council to consider. Again, this is just high level, you know, sort of footprint, if you will, of the space. We're not determining yet, you know, what's going to go in and what sort of features and the paint and whatnot. We're not there yet. But we need to kind of move forward and give marching orders to the team on which of these layouts we prefer. So sort of the way it will work, the consultant is here this evening and a subcontractor is going to be walking you through the presentation, answering questions you might have, and then you all will be voting to recommend one of the options to move forward to the city council. I will also be meeting with the Rec Park Renovation Subcommittee next Monday at 4. So we'll take their recommendation as well. So I'll present two recommendations to the council. Maybe they're the same recommendation, maybe they're not, but that's what we'll do. And then I'm taking it to the city council on the 2nd of July before they recess for the summer. So we're hoping we can get this nailed down so we can move forward. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jennifer Zell from MIG. If you want to come up and say a few words, come on up.
Thank you, Ally. And we do just want to express our excitement. This is, you know, work, but it's also very fun. We're very connected to this place with you. I know Aaron lives very close, and so we're personally connected. We're very excited to be part of this project with you. And as Ally mentioned, we are here. We are focusing the discussion today basically on the Teen Center Plaza. That includes the basketball court, it includes the skate park arrangement, but also that what we're calling the interface between the building. And that's the in-between space that I think the member of the public was describing as well. And we're also talking about the ADA parking spot and the ADA ramp with that access and what those implications to those configurations impact the skate park design as well. And as Ally mentioned, we're progressing options A and D. We've already made that clarification. These are the options that, given to us from the city with those two variations on those options. And then we're gonna be presenting the opportunities and constraints, and we're gonna be walking you through, Aaron, who you can see here, he's gonna be walking you through those findings as well, and our recommendations for your consideration. And of course, and then we're looking forward to discussion, feedback to record and inform the next steps of design. And one thing I do want to mention, this is preliminary. As part of our entire scope of work for this project, it's construction documentation for this. And so what we're working on now is as-built drawings. We're working on Google Earth, and our civil engineer has just done the supplemental topographic survey, which is going to help us make this more real, basically, with the grades, the elevations, the implications to walls, and connection to what's out there existing. So we don't have that yet. This is preliminary, and I would say keep that in mind as well. And we also have a cost, a rough order of magnitude cost you'll see at the end. Again, that is a rough number, and those contingencies are high. We can talk about that later, but as the design gets refined, those contingencies goes down as the design becomes more specific. And so I think with that, we're ready to share, to let Aaron walk us through these different options. And Aaron, can you please share your screen?
Can you hear us, Aaron? See if he can hear us. I saw him on there a minute ago.
Technology. Can I call him?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Aaron, you're muted and your video's off. So I think you need to unmute and your video.
Hello?
There he is.
We can hear you, Aaron. Can you hear us?
You there? That's weird. He was just on their video.
Called him. Okay. We're gonna do
Try
it
him again.
Thanks for your patience.
Yep. I see Steve.
Hi, Jennifer.
Okay, so we can hear you through the microphone, but when I hang up, I can't hear you.
So I'm gonna,
Oh, he just muted himself. Oh, there he goes.
We're not hearing anything from you. Just Aaron and I can communicate, but we're not hearing anything that's proceeding in your meeting.
Okay, so maybe you don't need to hear us at this point. We're gonna need to hear you, Aaron, and we need you to share your screen.
Although they do have it in front of them also.
Yeah, I'll turn my phone on for a speaker, because we need to use the question A. So let's start. Why don't you go ahead and walk through the options, and then,
And we have it.
we can talk to IT or something. Okay, thank you, Aaron. I'm hanging up.
Sean,
You're on.
can you go downstairs?
Okay.
Media come up.
Okay, I've got the phone on. Okay,
Oh,
you're
is it because we muted? Let's fix that. Mm-hmm.
can everybody hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
now we got you.
Okay, great.
And if you can share your screen, that's great, but if not, we have the presentation in front of us as well.
yes.
Okay,
We see it.
Are you able to see it full screen? Yes. Okay. Well, sorry for the technical difficulties. Thank you for having us here tonight to talk about skate parks and the teen center basketball court. I'll try to keep this brief and leave room for question and answer. On our slide, we have the existing condition of the outside space of the teen center. And we had a number of goals that we were looking at as we entered into this initial planning phase of the project. ADA parking and access is a big thing. The optimal basketball and skate park configuration. We want to try to create the highest functioning skate park area as possible. We wanted to eliminate the interior fence and make it more of a cohesive space. Enhance the building integration with the outdoor area. We were also wanting to create more level play spaces, both for the basketball court and for the skate area, so that people weren't either running or skating uphill and downhill. And provided, comfortable seating for people. We also were tasked with not impacting the existing retaining walls and to work with the existing grading system. So basically maintain as much of the existing structures as possible. Now we started with the baseline of looking at the approved teen center concept done by a previous consultant, and in that baseline configuration, basketball court stayed pretty much in its same orientation. The parking lot actually grew in length in order to accommodate ADA parking. And we don't have a slide showing it, but they also had a skate park design that they had laid into their concept. And I just want to point out that what they had shown, if anybody else is familiar with it, really was not a functioning skate park from the perspective of scale and spacing. It looked like there was a lot going on there, but it wasn't really feasible to accomplish what was being shown there. So part of the process that we went through here is to try to lay in more realistic functioning skate park designs. We also were given the task of looking at two different potential basketball configurations. One pretty much in the same as it was, parallel to Grand Avenue, and the other rotated over to running more parallel to the fence line to the north. And so those are labeled option A and option D. And you're looking at option A currently. So we have dotted lines laid in that show the blue dotted lines represent the existing basketball court. And the yellow dotted lines, if you can see them, they're a little faint, represent the existing skate park boundary of it. And the basketball court, the parking lot, you can see that this is the parking concept and ADA access concept. You can see how it actually impedes into the existing skate park area. So there's actually, in this concept, option A, there's actually a little bit of a net loss on square footage available to the skate park. So this is option A, and also in the yellow highlighted areas represent retaining walls. Those retaining walls are both for retaining the parking lot structure and providing for the ADA ramp into the space, and also a retaining wall to create separation between the basketball court and the skate park area. And that retaining can also be converted into kind of a terrace seating opportunity as well, and we've showed some ideas here. So this is option A. As you can see, we were given the green light to change the dimensions of the basketball court from what existed out there to currently, which was as represented to us, a little bit of an arbitrary dimensions. So we took a look at what basketball court sizes are available, standard sizes, and we looked at the standard size for junior high school, middle school size basketball court, and that basketball court is 42 feet wide, and I think that we have 48 feet in length of court. And so in our option A configuration, we have 3,600, almost 3,700 square feet of basketball court. There's 4,670 square feet of street area for the skate park. There's about 1,600 square feet for a bowl, 1,425 square feet for an interface between the building, the teen center, and the outdoor area. And then there is a 900 square foot area that's really, for better words, a non-programmed or potential green space location. So this is option A. This is option A with this calling out shows the ADA access concept and the parking concept for this extended parking area. There's the green represents the ADA parking space. Then you can see the ramp into the area. There's also a 78 square foot electric bike parking area. We've discussed whether it might be better to put a location in the interior of the outdoor space as opposed to outside the teen center. Here's a three-dimensional look of what this could look like. You can see the skate bowl, small skate bowl, the larger street skate area, the unprogrammed space, the extended parking that actually extends further into the park than the current configuration. So this is option A with the shifted parking. And when I say shifted parking, really what we did was we squared off the current parking configuration, and we did that so that we weren't losing room on length, because in the first option A, the reduced length didn't allow us to have kind of a back and forth flow, street area flow course. That's why we put a bowl there, and we ran the street area in the skate park crossways from north to south. And the crossway length also is not optimal. So the option A, really, we kind of have what I would say is a limited skate area, although better than what's currently out there, but not, I wouldn't call it optimal. Option A with the shifted parking gives us the additional length that we need in order to have a longer skate area. And the other thing that by reducing the width of the basketball court by 8 feet, that also gives us more area to pull the basketball court north, and that gives us an additional 8 feet that we can apply to the skate area. That 8 feet could also be occupied by some seating, and that also gives us a little bit more space for the outside, the interface area between the building and the outside area. Oh, once again, the basketball court stays the same, 3,700 square feet. We still have the 900 square foot non-programmed area, but our street area has now grown to almost 4,400 square feet, and we have a more advanced bowl in this concept, 2,325 square feet, and the total square footage of our skate park is now 6,700 square feet. And let me click back a couple slides. So we started with an option A, 6,270 square feet, and now we're up to 6,700 square feet in skate area. Once again, there's this is a different ADA access concept based on working with similar size parking to what exists there currently. And you see the ADA parking and a handicap ramp that returns. There's a landing and return. Now, and here's a 3D view of it. You can see the skate park is a little larger. We've also put a bit of a barrier behind the basket and at the one end of the basketball court to stop loose balls, but we, are showing this concept is showing minimal fencing between the two areas. That's something that could change, but we're just trying to leave it more as an open, cohesive area. So this is option D, where we've now rotated the basketball court. So we're running parallel to the retaining wall along the north side of the park. And by doing this, we've now actually created more area for the skate park to widen and actually gives us more options with creating features. You can see the dotted lines where the existing court was and the existing skate park. This once again has the extended parking that actually comes down, that was approved in the first concept. You can also see the highlighted retaining walls in this. Skate park is now up to 6,850 square feet. Basketball court still is maintaining the same size. You can see that we have some terraced steps kind of seating. The exterior space as the interface between the building and the outside area, I'm sorry I didn't call out the numbers earlier, but has grown to 1,686 feet. I believe that it grew by about 300 square feet from the earlier concepts. And really what's happened is the 900 square feet, the triangular area that was really potentially a green space or potentially a non-programmed area or some other use, has now been, that 900 square feet has now been absorbed into the other play spaces. And 300 square feet, 300 of that 900 went to the building interface and 600 went to the skate park area. And so now the skate park is up to 6,800 square feet. We're able to accomplish a larger, more advanced bowl, and we have a pretty good street course as well. Once again, similar ADA parking for this concept. I'm sorry, the parking and the ADA entrance access. And here's a 3D view of what that concept could look like. And then we have our option D with shifted parking. And so similar, the parking lot has been pulled back to square it off in the existing location that it's currently in. The skate park has now grown up to 7,160 square feet. The exterior space is, the interface is 1,800. Basketball court remains the same. And we have the same bowl configuration that we had in the earlier concepts. But we're achieving more of the, a little bit larger of a street area. And it's important, and I think that this, from the skate park perspective, we have optimal spacing and length in this concept where there's enough run up to the street features where kids can do tricks. And we feel like this gives us, if I didn't really go through pros and cons of these individual concepts, but at least from the skate park perspective, it's been growing as we've moved through these concepts. It's been growing and creating a more functional, high performance park with safer, better spacing, things like that. And once again, here is our ADA parking. And there's the 3D view of the concept. There was also some conversation about whether we could level, like I mentioned leveling things earlier. The current basketball court drops from corner to, diagonally from corner to corner. So the court falls crossways and lengthways at the same time. And the skate park actually does that too. The skate park actually kind of drops downhill. So one of our goals in this concept was to see whether, as we're adding retaining walls for seating and things, or that we couldn't level, get a little bit more level basketball court and maybe still having a 2% cross slope, but trying to have it from end to end be more flat and level. And it seems to me like I'm missing some points, and maybe I should leave some room for question and answer, or we also have slides talking about numbers, which I think I should let Jennifer talk to, which I could click them forward.
Sure, that'd be great, Aaron. Can you hear me?
Do we want to do that, or are there any questions about what I
have one
presented?
question, just while he was talking about leveling.
Yes.
Okay, or flattening, I don't know, level is the right word. Did he say it could happen or it cannot happen?
As far
Uh,
as,
Do-
go ahead, Aaron.
I'm saying that one of our goals would be to try to create a more level space, not absolutely flat, but more have less of a drop, especially diagonally from end to end. We would hope to achieve just the appropriate cross slope for drainage, just for water to be able to sheet flow off to the side. So the answer to your question is, I believe that it is possible to create more level spaces.
Perfect, thank you. Aaron, you answered my question, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, and, yeah, we do want to have more questions, but we'll get through the, yeah, of course. So the cost projections, do you mind, yeah. I think really what to notice here is the costs are similar, but I just want to point out where those cost changes happen between, option A and option A with the parking shifted. You've got a $25,000 difference in the skate park area because you have more skate park area, you have more skate park square footage, so that's where that amount comes. And then the ADA, the difference in the ADA ramp and parking between the two, it's limited, the difference there. We're only at about $18,000, but it's just basically in the square footage and the expanded square footage between the two. And, well, it's just the parking lot itself, it's exchanging parking lot for skate features and ramping essentially, but the costing that we looked at is just the ADA spot as well as the ramp, and the ramp is what's been extended. It's a longer ramp, exactly. Because of the grades, which we still need to work out once we get a real topo survey. And did you want to add anything, Aaron, on these cost projections? I don't know if you can hear me. And I'll just move on. And then for option D, again, it's the same exchange. We're getting more skate park. Skate park is more expensive because of the concrete and the configuration and the features within the skate park. It's about 75,000 difference. And what stormwater treatment doesn't change. It's the same square footage of impact generally. That's a rough number at $30,000. That goes across all of these options. And option D, with the parking shifted, you can see again that increased skate park area. That's where we get the big delta in change, is basically increasing the amount of skate park that we have. And so now we'd love to have discussions, get more questions, your feedback.
Jennifer, could I add a little context to that?
Yes,
Jennifer,
please.
can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Can I add a little context to that?
Yes, please.
Yeah, the cost of the skate park, well, let me just say that that this is a difficult site to build on. It's very compact, Access is difficult. Construction laydown area is difficult. And so there are a lot of costs that are built in um, just to work in that space, regardless of the size of the park. There's a lot of mobilization and costs that just go with working there. But then as the skate park increases in size, we have a multiplier that we just multiply by that square footage. We also looked at the basketball court as being a concrete court as opposed to asphalt, because it would be it probably would be the same cost or less to build it in concrete as opposed to asphalt, just because of the tight quarters there and the fact that we are already in place. The builder would already be in place, installing concrete, and so pouring a concrete slab for the basketball court would probably be same prices or less even than asphalt. So we looked at all that and factored it into the development cost of the skate park and the basketball area. That's the end of my added context.
Okay, thank you. Want to start with some questions? Let's go over here. Kelly, go ahead.
So the parking area that is shifted or not shifted, what impact in terms of number of spaces or, I guess I'm wondering why there are those two options, because this is really four options. In my mind, like the parking shifted is up there because somebody hasn't, like, it seems to me the parking shifted is optimal in terms of maximizing the size for the kids. So why even have a non-parking shifted option, I guess is my question.
I can answer that one. I think really we were just taking the direction we were given from the city as far as progressing the approved conceptual design. We were just trying to stick with that as an option.
So are
And-
you looking for direction from us on parking shifted or not, or is that Public Works' decision, or? I think whatever recommendation you guys have is what is taken forward. Okay.
We're going to give our recommendation of, we asked for two options, we got four options, just what you said. But we're going to give, the three of us are going to give our opinion
Right. As
of
to
which option we like,
Yeah,
okay?
but it sounds like city council's getting two options regardless.
They're going to see the same presentation.
Yeah, yeah.
This is just going to
This
be
is
our,
just us weighing in.
that is correct.
Yeah, okay, so, my second question, I mean, we got to hear luckily from, someone who's been involved from day one, which is great. But there's also been a subcommittee that has worked on this. And the last I heard, what was the subcommittee's weigh in on this?
So the subcommittee will see this on Monday. So you guys are seeing it first, and they will see it on Monday. Right.
Okay.
So they will weigh in on
So
this.
they'll weigh in as well?
Correct,
Okay,
and then
sorry,
we'll-
I just hate that Dave's not here.
Yeah, so we'll take the recommendations from both bodies to the council,
Fair enough, okay.
and any feedback.
Perfect, okay. My third comment then, back to the parking, because of my interest in transportation, is that I would prefer to have fewer cars parked in a lot and encourage use of public transit. So to me, if you're losing parking lot space and giving it to kids for playable space, to me, that I would take the whole bloody thing, if I could, but I appreciate you can't stop there on Grand, so someone's gotta pull in to drop off, if that's gonna be an issue, but that would be my vote. So to me, the parking shifted makes more sense because of that. Give the kids the maximum playable space. And then I know we'll probably do a vote or something, I don't know, whatever later, but I do like option D because it does activate more of the space in my mind. And, at the end of the day, having more features in the skate park, making this, a better skate park is what we should be doing. and not, you know, a lawn space that is questionable if it's ever gonna be playable. So I think that this is really great, and I can't imagine why, for the difference in price, we would, you know, but, oh, okay, I thought you were gonna disagree. All right.
Julie?
Yeah, I have a couple of things. What ages does the skate park encompass?
Well, really would encompass for all ages. The street course there's features in the street course that even young skaters can come and use, practice on. And the bowl is actually a more advanced feature which would, you know, a lot of adult skaters would, or, you know, young adults would really appreciate, especially El Segundo's like surf community. So it kind of crossover to surf. So I feel like the skate park, you know, going into this, we knew that there was a lot of restrictions on the shape of the space and the size of it. I feel like we've done a pretty good job of creating something that can maximize the space and provide for all ages and provide for all disciplines too. The two primary disciplines are street and transition bowls, and transition means bowls.
Okay. I do like the idea that Chris was talking about with the pool coping. I liked that back when I was growing up with the pools and all that. I actually used to go over to Marina Del Rey when they had the skate park over there where the freeway is now. And I like that being the only park in the South Bay that would have that. I was kind of confused when he kept saying that he was for option D1, and we don't have a D1 on here. The shifted, okay. And then you were talking about the cost that you have provided here, the cost projections. Were they being on the high side now?
I would say what makes them high is the multiplier of the contingency at 20%. There's so many unknowns, so I would say yes, it's on the high side.
Okay. And the other thing is when he was talking about the leveling of the basketball court, does that go under site development? Because on both option A and option D, site development is at $660,000 on both of those, but you're only doing the leveling of, I assume, the leveling of the basketball court on option D, not on option A.
We included leveling of the basketball court for both options.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So it's included in the cost for both options.
Okay, under site development, I would
Correct.
assume.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's all I have.
Okay. Kelly, you pretty much asked all my questions. A couple questions, and this is crazy because we're talking about a skate park and a basketball court, but I'm going to ask about the parking just as you did. Right now, I think there's about 5 spots out there. Do we even need parking there other than for the ADA?
The answer to that is no, and the spots you have now are not they're not compliant or not conforming to
So
standards.
my thought would be to make that a drop-off point only, a loading, unloading zone, other than the ADA required spot.
Yes.
I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but there's no reason, because when you pull in there off of Grand, you have to back out onto Grand, and it's not really safe for anybody. So,
And there's parking
And there's-
at Rec Park.
there's parking on the other side, on the north side of that spot. So, I don't think, and most of the people that park there are going to the restaurant anyway.
That's the same,
Okay.
yeah.
So it's just one of my thoughts. Did you want to respond? I'm sorry.
I would just say we concur. That's kind of the same conclusions that we
Okay.
had come to as far as the parking.
I appreciate that, thank you. Either way, obviously, it has to be ADA compliant all the way, the ramp and all that, so that's perfect. I love that you are gonna try to level it the best you can, but still have the flow that we need for water drain off and all that. I had asked you earlier about an overlay for A and D. I don't need to see it.
Okay.
Okay, by looking at it, it's pretty clear of how it's gonna be.
Okay.
The pool coping, yeah, let's try to throw that in there, get it in there, if possible. And, yeah, I don't know why we're looking at anything in A. I think we should be looking at D and the shifted parking. Well, actually, only the ADA parking and make it a drop-off zone.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And one other thing, are there spectator or seating areas for both, for skate park and for basketball?
Yes, and that's kind of what we love about it, is thinking of the whole thing as one space. To answer your question, yes, and we're even looking at those view corridors from inside the building as well. But could, Aaron, I'm assuming you can hear me. Can you click back to D? Yeah, the yellow area that you see functions as separating the skate and the basketball court, but it also provides for kind of stadium seating to see both ways, because it's such a spectacle to watch what they can do.
Staff had actually recommended or requested this, that there be, seating that, compares down on both sides so that people can come out.
And Aaron, you can also answer this too. I think there's even a couple of platforms throughout that maximize view corridors.
I didn't hear the question exactly, but,
Okay, I'll repeat it. The question is, are there areas that allow seating for visibility into both the basketball as well as the skate features?
yeah, so we obviously, well, not obviously, but they're seating along the sideline of the basketball court. And the backs, and actually the backside of that wall, could be seating just facing into the skate area, the upper street area. I'm sorry if you're not, my description is not helping you to follow, but we also have the terrace seating down in the bowl area, and we feel like the bowl is going to be a really high action, high activity area, and I feel like that's a great space for people to be hanging out and watching. And I think that, and these are just really, really rough initial designs. They don't really represent what we are going to ultimately do when it comes to the design of these spaces. And so, if there are goals like wanting to integrate more seating within the skate space, certainly that's something that we can take a look at and accomplish. And there was even a conversation earlier about trying to provide a shade space, maybe somewhere down in the skate area. But, these are all goals that we could take a look at.
Okay. With no fencing or balls from the basketballs going into the skate park, what I'm seeing there in the picture is something like a fence, but it's maybe a barrier of some sort.
It's a little bit of an artistic
Okay.
concept of staggered poles that doesn't look quite like a fence, but effectively would stop balls from getting through.
Might it do the trick?
It might, and we once again, this is just a concept. This is a very, very, very early concept,
Right.
and we would be looking for input from the rest of the team on ideas that could be interesting and creative.
Yes, and this, right now, we do need to provide a barrier so the balls aren't rolling into the skate park bowl. But I think it can be, become part of the identity of the space. It can maybe, you know, it doesn't have to be a chain link fence. It may end up a chain link fence, but it could be other things that communicate, you know, that unique identity of this skate park and that culture here.
I hate to say this, maybe netting of some sort, I would ruin the look.
Yeah.
But I think something is gonna need to be
Yeah,
there.
we'll do.
Correct.
So,
You-
I know,
just-
again, I know it's early design, or early portion, but something's gonna have to be there.
There's some pretty cool fencing that's being done on overpasses. That's very creative. Out if you're aware of going out to the Imperial Valley and such, there's some really interesting. I mean, it's more of an art piece,
Yeah.
but it just happens to be made out of chain link fence in different sizes and patterns and overlapping. So I think that could be very attractive. Something that doesn't look like a fence but acts as a fence.
That would be good. I'm just looking for safety factor too, for,
Yeah, sure.
for the the people in the skate park and
Yeah.
jumping over a basketball instead of the,
Mm-hmm.
Perforated metal too, with
Yeah.
patterns.
Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
There's just some more feedback.
So
Any-
one of you can make a motion to recommend one of the
I'll
options?
do it. Make a motion that we accept or pass on option D with the shifted parking. So D1.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's
opposed?
3-0.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Aaron, thank you.
Thank you, Erin.
You're welcome.
Yes,
Yes.
it is. Very exciting.
This is exciting.
And just sort of to end the presentation, thank you, Jennifer, for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you for Chris, who's been super involved from the get-go, and Aaron and Steve, the whole team. We are planning on doing some community outreach at the end of July, roughly, and that will be specifically to talk about the amenities that would go into the skate park, you know, getting the teens involved. So it's not going to be a huge, you know, month-long process. We're going to have a community meeting, we're going to have some pizza, we're going to invite the kids out, have Aaron and Chris talk in skateboarding terms to the youngsters and figure out what we want out there. So we will get to that point. We're just, we need to get this done first, and then we'll start to look more at the detail, so. And that concludes our presentation.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Thank you very much. And
you.
we're going to continue on with our agenda. We're at, well, no subcommittee reports tonight. We'll do that next week. Director report, nothing. Commissioner comments. Commissioner Stolnik. Julie.
No comments.
Okay. Vice Chairperson Watson. Kelly. I only have, thank you, Chris. Thank you for being here. Thanks for all that you've been, all your feedback. And thanks everyone. And staff comments.
No comments.
With that, we'll adjourn to our regular meeting next Wednesday. Thank you, everyone.